What if I told you that by the time you finish watching this video, the global silver market will have moved closer to a collapse that most people won't see coming until it's already over? Not in 6 months, not next year, right now. In the next 72 hours, something is going to break in the physical silver market that will make it nearly impossible for ordinary people to buy silver at any reasonable price. And the people who understand why this is happening aren't waiting. They're not debating. They're moving. Because they know that once this window closes, it doesn't reopen. Oh, here's what you need to understand. Silver isn't like other commodities. It's not oil. It's not copper. It's not even gold. Silver exists in a category that almost no one outside of a very small circle of industrial buyers, military contractors, and commodity traders actually comprehends. It's simultaneously the most consumed industrial metal on Earth and one of the smallest, most fragile markets in existence. And that combination creates a structural vulnerability that's been quietly building for decades. But in the last 72 hours, something shifted. Not in the news, not in the headlines, in the actual physical flow of metal. And if you don't understand what that shift means, you're going to watch from the sidelines as one of the most predictable supply shocks in modern financial history unfolds right in front of you. Let's start with the mechanism. Silver is used in everything. Solar panels, electronics, military-grade semiconductors, electric vehicles, medical devices, water purification systems. The average smartphone contains a fraction of a gram. The average electric vehicle contains nearly 1 kilogram. A single solar panel can contain up to 20 grams. And global solar installations alone are projected to consume over 200 million ounces of silver this year. That's industrial demand. That's not jewelry. That's not investment. That's consumption. Once that silver goes into a solar panel, it's gone. It's not coming back. It's not getting recycled in any meaningful quantity. It's embedded in a product with a 30-year lifespan, sitting on a rooftop in Germany or California, completely removed from the supply chain. Now here's where the fragility comes in. The entire global silver market trades around 1 billion ounces per year. That includes everything: mining, recycling, government sales, everything. But here's the problem. Industrial demand alone is already consuming over 600 million ounces annually. Investment demand, jewelry, and other uses account for the rest. There is no slack. There's no buffer. The market is already balanced on a knife's edge. And when a market this tight faces even a small disruption, it doesn't bend. It snaps. So what happens when you introduce a new variable into this equation? What happens when you take a market that's already running at maximum capacity and you suddenly inject a surge of investment demand on top of the industrial consumption that's already stripping supply to the bone? You get a scramble, a physical scramble, not a price increase, not a bull market, a scramble. Because there's a difference between price going up because demand is rising and price going up because there's literally no metal available to buy. And that's the difference almost no one is paying attention to. They're watching the price. They're watching the charts. They're watching the headlines, but they're not watching the delivery schedules. They're not watching the refinery backlogs. They're not watching the premiums at the retail level, which have already started to spike in ways that suggest something is breaking behind the scenes. Here's what's actually happening right now. Over the last 72 hours, multiple large bullion dealers in the United States and Europe have quietly started extending delivery times on physical silver products, not by days, by weeks, some by months. If you go to buy silver coins or bars from a major dealer right now, you're not getting them next week. You're getting them in March, maybe April. And that's if they can even guarantee the order. Because the dealers themselves don't have the metal. They're waiting on the refineries. And the refineries are waiting on the mines. And the mines are already running at capacity. There's no extra supply to tap. There's no emergency stockpile. The system is operating at equilibrium. And equilibrium means that any surge in demand immediately translates into a supply shortage. Now let's talk about why this is happening now. Why 72 hours? Why not 6 months ago? Why not next year? Because something changed in the derivative market. Silver, like most commodities, trades in two parallel universes. There's the paper market, where contracts are bought and sold on exchanges like the COMEX, and there's the physical market, where actual metal changes hands. For decades, these two markets have been connected by a thin thread of confidence. The confidence that if you own a paper contract, you can convert it into physical metal if you really want to. But that confidence is built on a lie, because the amount of paper silver that trades every day is astronomically larger than the amount of physical silver that actually exists. On the COMEX alone, the open interest in silver contracts represents more than 150 days of global silver production. Think about that. If every contract holder on the COMEX demanded physical delivery right now, it would take over 5 months of total global mining output to fulfill those claims. And that's just one exchange. But here's the thing. For decades, almost no one actually demanded delivery. The system worked because people played along. Traders would buy contracts, watch the price move, take their profit, and close the position. The physical metal never moved. It was just numbers on a screen. But over the last few weeks, something shifted. A growing number of large institutional buyers have started demanding physical delivery, not paper settlement, physical metal. And when that happens, the exchange has to scramble to find the metal. They have to go to the refineries. The refineries have to go to the mines. And the mines are already selling everything they produce to industrial buyers who have contracts locked in months or years in advance. There's no spare capacity. There's no emergency reserve. The system was built to function as long as most participants agreed to stay in the paper market. But the moment a critical mass decides they want the real thing, the entire structure unravels. And that's exactly what's happening. Right now, not in theory, in practice. Over the last 72 hours, the disconnect between paper prices and physical premiums has widened to levels that haven't been seen since the peak of the pandemic in 2020. When you go to buy a silver coin right now, you're not paying spot price. You're paying spot plus $4. Spot plus $5. In some cases, spot plus $6 per ounce. That's a premium of 20 to 30% over the paper price. And that premium isn't profit for the dealer. It's desperation. It's the market screaming that there's not enough metal to meet demand. When premiums spike like this, it's not because dealers are greedy. It's because they're competing with each other to secure metal from a rapidly shrinking pool of available supply. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Most people think that if there's a supply shortage, the price will just go up, and that will solve the problem. Higher prices will incentivize more production. More production will bring supply back into balance. That's economics 101. But silver doesn't work that way, because 70% of silver production is a byproduct of other mining operations. It comes out of the ground as a secondary product from copper mines, lead mines, zinc mines. That means the amount of silver that gets produced isn't determined by the price of silver. It's determined by the price of copper, the price of lead, the price of zinc. If copper prices are high, miners dig more copper and silver comes along for the ride. But if silver prices double and copper prices stay flat, it doesn't matter. The miners aren't going to open new silver mines just because silver is expensive, because there aren't many pure silver mines left. The easy deposits were mined out decades ago. The remaining silver is locked in polymetallic ore bodies, where silver is just a bonus, not the main event. So what happens when demand surges but supply can't respond? You get a structural deficit, and that deficit doesn't resolve quickly. It doesn't resolve at all until demand is destroyed. And how does demand get destroyed in a critical industrial commodity? It doesn't. Solar panel manufacturers don't stop building panels because silver is expensive. Electric vehicle manufacturers don't stop building cars. Military contractors don't stop building defense systems. They pay whatever the price is, because the cost of silver in a solar panel is negligible compared to the total cost of the product. Silver could triple in price, and it would barely move the needle on the final price of a solar panel. Which means industrial buyers are price inelastic. They'll pay whatever they have to. And that means they'll outbid retail investors every single time. And that's the trap. If you're waiting for silver to come back down before you buy, you're not understanding the game. You're competing against buyers who don't care about price, buyers who have procurement contracts, buyers who have production schedules, buyers who have government mandates. And when those buyers start bidding for the same pool of metal that retail investors are trying to access, retail loses every time. Because the industrial buyers have direct relationships with refineries. They have long-term contracts. They have priority. And when supply gets tight, the refineries honor their obligations to the big buyers first. The retail market gets whatever's left. And right now, what's left is almost nothing. So why 72 hours? Because that's how long it takes for information to percolate through the retail market. Right now, most people don't know this is happening. They're not watching refinery schedules. They're not tracking premiums. They're not talking to dealers. But in 72 hours, this information will have spread. The extended delivery times will be common knowledge. The premium spikes will be reported. And when that happens, you'll see a surge of buying from people who suddenly realize the window is closing. And that surge will be the final straw. Because the system can absorb a steady baseline of demand. It can even absorb gradual increases, but it cannot absorb a panic rush. And that's what's coming. A fear-driven wave of buying from people who don't want to be the last one through the door. Let me give you a historical reference point. In early 2020, when the pandemic lockdowns hit, the retail silver market seized up almost overnight. Premiums spiked to $8, $10, $12 over spot. Delivery times stretched to 3 months. Some dealers stopped taking orders entirely because they couldn't source metal. And this happened even though industrial demand had collapsed because factories were shut down. That shortage was driven purely by investment demand. Imagine what happens when you get an investment demand surge. At the same time, industrial demand is hitting all-time highs. You don't get a repeat of 2020. You get something worse? Because in 2020, the system could rely on the fact that industrial demand was temporarily offline. That slack no longer exists. Every ounce of mine supply is already spoken for. Every refinery is running at capacity. There's no slack to absorb a shock. Now let's talk about what the institutions are doing, because they're not sitting still. Over the last 6 months, a quiet accumulation has been taking place. Central banks in Eastern Europe and Asia have been adding silver to reserves, not in headlines, not in press releases, in quiet, off-market transactions. Large family offices have been converting portions of their cash positions into physical metal, not through ETFs, not through paper contracts, through private vaults, through allocated storage, because they know that in a real supply shock, paper claims are worthless. You can own 1,000 shares of a silver ETF, but if the ETF can't source metal, your shares are just a promise, and promises don't keep their value when the system is breaking. And here's the part that should terrify you. The COMEX has a clause in every contract that allows them to settle in cash instead of metal if they declare a force majeure event. That means if the exchange runs out of silver, they can just pay you the paper value and walk away. You don't get the metal, you get dollars, and those dollars are worth whatever silver is trading at on the day they decide to invoke that clause. Which means if you're holding paper silver, when the physical market freezes, you're not going to participate in the price spike. You're going to get cashed out at whatever the last quoted price was before the system locked up. And by the time you try to go buy physical silver with those dollars, the premiums will be so high that you'll be paying more than you would have if you just bought the metal in the first place. This is why the informed money is moving now, not because they're panicking, because they understand the structure of the market. They understand that in a supply-constrained commodity, the people who own physical metal before the shortage becomes obvious are the only ones who win. Everyone else is left scrambling, paying whatever price is demanded, if they can even find metal to buy at all. Let's talk about volatility, because this is where most people get shaken out. Over the next few weeks, you're going to see headlines. Silver prices tumble on profit-taking. Retail investors flee silver amid volatility. These headlines are designed to create fear. They're designed to make you think you're late, that you missed it, that the smart money is selling. But here's what those headlines won't tell you. Volatility in the paper market is not the same thing as supply conditions in the physical market. The paper price can drop 10% in a day, and it doesn't change the fact that refineries are back-ordered for months. It doesn't change the fact that premiums are spiking. It doesn't change the fact that industrial demand is consuming every ounce that comes out of the ground. Volatility is noise. Supply deficits are signal. And right now, the signal is screaming. The banks know this. They've known it for years. That's why the silver market has been one of the most manipulated commodity markets in modern history. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's documented. In 2018, major banks paid hundreds of millions of dollars in fines for spoofing and manipulating the silver market. They would place massive sell orders to push the price down, then cancel the orders before execution. They did this thousands of times. Why? Because a low silver price benefits anyone who has a short position. And the banks have been structurally short silver for decades. But here's the problem. You can manipulate price. You can't manipulate supply. And when the physical supply runs out, the manipulation ends. Not because the banks suddenly develop a conscience, because the mechanism breaks. You can't suppress the price of something that doesn't exist. And that's the end game we're approaching. Now think about what happens when this becomes mainstream knowledge. When the financial media finally catches up. When CNBC runs a segment on the silver shortage. When Bloomberg publishes an article. When social media lights up. You'll see a buying frenzy that makes the GameStop short squeeze look like a minor blip. Because silver is a physical commodity with real supply constraints. You can't just print more of it. You can't issue more shares. You can't expand the float. The amount of silver that exists is fixed by geology, and the amount that can be mined is fixed by economics. And when millions of people suddenly try to buy a commodity that's already in deficit, the price doesn't go up in a straight line. It gaps. It spikes. It becomes disorderly. And in a disorderly market, the only people who benefit are the ones who positioned before the chaos. This is not financial advice. This is a structural analysis of a market that's approaching a breaking point. The math is not speculative. The industrial demand numbers are public. The mine supply numbers are public. The refinery capacity is known. The COMEX inventories are published daily. All of the data points in the same direction. Demand is outstripping supply. The buffer is gone. And the market is now operating on a hair trigger, where any additional surge in buying will overwhelm the system's ability to deliver physical metal. 72 hours is not a marketing gimmick. It's an estimate based on information flow. Right now, the extended delivery times and premium spikes are known to dealers. They're known to large buyers. They're known to people who are plugged into the physical market, but they're not yet widely known to the general public. That changes fast. And when it does, the buying pressure will intensify. Not because people are speculating, because people are realizing that if they wait any longer, they might not be able to buy silver at all. Not at a reasonable price. not in a reasonable time frame, and for some, not at any price. Think about the psychology of that moment. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that something you could have bought yesterday for $30 an ounce is now being quoted at $50, with a 6-week delivery time and no guarantee the order will be honored. How do you feel? Angry? Frustrated? Like you missed something obvious? That's the feeling that's coming from millions of people. And the people who positioned ahead of that moment won't feel that way. They'll feel calm because they understood the structure. They understood the inevitability. And they acted while there was still time. The window is closing, not in some distant, abstract future. Right now, in real time. The physical market is already showing stress fractures. The premiums are rising. The delivery times are extending. The refineries are maxed out. The industrial buyers are locked in. And the retail market is about to wake up to a reality that's been building quietly for months. When that awakening happens, the rush will be immediate. And the people who are late won't get a second chance. Because once the physical market freezes, it doesn't unfreeze quickly. It takes months, sometimes years, for new supply to come online, for new mines to open, for new refineries to be built. And during that time, the people who own physical metal will be holding an asset that is in desperate demand with almost no available supply. This isn't about getting rich quick. This is about understanding a structural shift in a critical commodity market. This is about recognizing that certain outcomes are not speculative. They're mathematical. When you have inelastic industrial demand colliding with constrained supply and a surge of investment demand, the outcome is predetermined. The only variable is timing. And the timing is now. Not because someone decided it should be, because the data says it is, because the physical flow of metal says it is, because the market structure says it is. The institutions won't tell you this is happening. They'll tell you silver is volatile. They'll tell you it's risky. They'll tell you to stay diversified. And while they're telling you that, they'll be quietly securing physical metal for their own balance sheets, because they know that in a supply shock, the narrative doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is whether you own the physical asset or you don't. And if you don't, you're going to be one of the people scrambling to buy at premiums you never thought possible, from dealers who can't promise delivery in a market that's completely disconnected from the prices you're seeing on the screen. 72 hours, that's the window, that's the estimate. That's how long you have before this goes from a quiet structural problem to a widely recognized crisis. And once it becomes widely recognized, the opportunity to position ahead of the crowd is gone. The game is already in motion. The people who understand the structure are already moving. The question is whether you're going to be one of them or whether you're going to be one of the people watching from the outside, wondering how you missed something that was completely predictable if you just looked at the right data. The math is already locked in. The supply deficit is real. The industrial demand is inelastic. The retail market is fragile. And the window is closing, not slowly, not gradually, faster than most people realize. And by the time the mainstream catches up, the metal will be gone. Not gone forever, but gone from the accessible market. Locked up in private vaults, held by institutions, allocated to industrial contracts. And the people who waited will be left paying whatever price the market demands if they can even find a seller willing to part with metal. This is the moment. This is the structural shift. This is the predictable outcome of a decade of underinvestment in mining, surging industrial demand, and a fragile paper market that was always built on the assumption that most people would never ask for delivery. But now they're asking. And the system doesn't have an answer. It just has delays, premiums, back orders, and eventually it will have a price that reflects the true scarcity of physical metal. So here's the question I want you to answer, not for me, for yourself, in the comments. Knowing what you know now, knowing that industrial demand is consuming 600 million ounces a year, knowing that mine supply can't respond quickly, knowing that the paper market is leveraged hundreds to one against the physical, knowing that premiums are already spiking and delivery times are already extending, what do you think happens next? Do you think the system finds a way to absorb this quietly? Or do you think we're about to see one of the most dramatic supply shocks in commodity market history? Drop your answer in the comments. Because in 72 hours, we'll know if you were right.